Welcome to Llandow for round 2 of the FAB-Racing British Minibike Championship here from sunny Llandow. Let's take a look what happened in the LC40 Elite Championship.
So, Alex, are you looking forward to this race? Tell us, who do you think is going to be battling up front?
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this. So, usually the people at the front of the grid mainly. So I'd kind of say maybe top 4, top 5 of this. Obviously, the qualifying sessions that we had yesterday. Obviously, if you're new to this championship, how qualifying works and how the grids are set for these championships, and all of them is there are 2 qualifying sessions. You've obviously got like Q1 and Q2, and whoever sets it's not so much the fastest time, it's the fastest combined time of both of those sessions. So the qualifying session sets the grid for all 3 races, so there's no reverse grid, there's nothing like that. Once you get your race 1 grid, that is the grid for the rest of the weekend. So as we're just waiting for the final few checks, so here we go, here the bikes come onto the grid. So let's go for a rundown of the grid. We're going to have a warm-up lap as well, and look at them, all the riders are looking like they are ready to go racing for the first race of the day. This is obviously very, very exciting. It's the first race of the day. Obviously this race should have happened yesterday, but obviously unfortunately not, but we get them this morning. So let's do a rundown of the grid. On pole position is the number 27 of Austin Johnson. Second in the 199 is Finley POLHILL. It's a very recognisable, it's a bright orange bike, you cannot miss it. In third place is Mathew THOMAS, as we see Austin Johnson just making his way to the grid now in the blue, sort of fluoro green, blue and pink multicoloured leathers. Number 3, Mathew THOMAS. Number 4 is Sam Gardner in the number 56. Byron JOHNSON starts P5 in the 37. LINDQUIST starts P6 in the number 14. Jensen BISHOP in the number 11 starts P7. Chloe GLEESON in P8, the number 25. And number 9, or 9th on the grid, is Oliver Hall in the number 3. TOERIEN in P10. And rounding out the grid, win the triple one bike, Callum MAXWELL starts P11. So it's looking like it's going to be a very, very, very interesting race. These riders are very, very much looking forward to getting their bikes around the track, having some wheel-to-wheel racing, and it's going to be a very, very good race. Yeah, it certainly is. Yesterday in qualifying, it was pretty close times all throughout. They've been waiting for this race for almost 24 hours now, and they have 3 races today, so it's something different for these riders that they're not used to. So it's going to be slightly different to see if maybe there's a surprise of 1 or 2 riders that may not usually be up front, but with the extra races that we have today, it may be able to get up front. Here is them making their way onto the grid with the paramedics and marshals, telling them to slow down before they come to the grid area to then hopefully get underway with this race. Of course, there's 2 brothers in this race, Austin Johnson and Byron JOHNSON. Both brothers are very, very similar looking bikes. It's quite confusing to watch. Same colour of helmets as well, with just a 2, 27 and 37, so just 1 number making the difference whenever you're watching them on screen. But I'm sure we'll guide you through it as we just wait to get final checks done in the grid before we can get the race underway, as we wait for the marshal to do the final checks before they do the point up to the lights, and everyone looks with anticipation. So here we go, race 1 of day 2 here at Llandow. We wait for the lights to go on. Let's wait. Red lights are on. Red lights are off, and we go racing here at day 2 at Llandow. A great start by Austin Johnson. Austin Johnson gets a great start in this race. Finley POLHILL also a great start, trying to chase and bridge up the gap straight away. They know that Austin Johnson has the pace, and if they let Austin Johnson get away and up front straight away and get in a rhythm, they know that it's going to be very, very difficult for them to catch up. Also a great start by Byron JOHNSON, the brother of Austin, who's up into 3rd. Started the race in 5th, which just shows that they are on it straight away, even though it's first thing in the morning for these riders. Yeah, absolutely. The riders absolutely are preparing to go, and I think that is to 199 with Finley POLHILL. Yes, it is. I think he's in second place. Yes, he is. So far, he's in position where he starts. So all these riders very, very close together as we see there Austin Johnson, the first car to come into the final corner and go across the start finish. As we see a send there down on the inside. That was a great little move there. A very, very nice move there. So let's do a rundown. Austin Johnson setting the fastest lap on that first lap. He is in P1. Finley POLHILL is in P2. Byron Johnson, as we said, brother of Austin Johnson, two Johnson brothers at first and third. Sam Gardner has dropped down to fourth position. Liam Lindquist in P5. Finley POLHILL there on the screen. In P6, Mathew THOMAS. In P6, GLEESON up to P7. Oliver Hall up to P8. TOERIEN in P9. Jensen BISHOP in P10. And Callum MAXWELL in P11 in the 111.
Yeah, Finley POLHILL had a massive moment one lap ago at his very chicane. The bike just started shaking and wobbling, and I believe both feet came off the peg, so he was very, very lucky to stay on. You see the riders here just trying to get as tucked in as possible with keeping the right leg out, so it's just easier to go in to this final corner, which it screams dive bomb, as we said yesterday. It's such a great overtaking opportunity is the final corner, which leads to some great last lap battles. This track, as we mentioned yesterday, is such a technical circuit and has a bit of everything. It has fast corners, it has slow corners, it has multiple chicanes, it has hairpins, it has flat out corners, flat out kinks. It's a great circuit for these riders to learn their craft, because as we know, this is the top category of Minimotos for the UK, and it's the best riders on the final step before they should hopefully progress on to the likes of the Mini GP 50s and 70s.
Yeah, absolutely. And then from there, obviously, British Talent Cup, and it goes even from there. So we see the first of the riders there. We've got Austin Johnson on the first of the Spitfire straight, the straight that we absolutely love here in the comms box, as we see the riders coming down Spitfire straight. There we go, a little battle here, it looks like, between, just can't see the name there, I think that's the number Liam Lindquist in the number 14 with Oliver Hall just behind him. So a fantastic little battle here. Yes, it is. Only 2.5 tenths separate these two riders. Can Oliver Hall do anything to get past Liam Lindquist? Is he going to be able to kind of a fake a move? Or maybe, in fact, it looks like here they're almost side by side coming into this section here. But I think, Liam Lindquist just stays ahead at this point.
Yeah, Oliver Hall showing some great pace in this race just straight away in this morning, first race of the day. Oliver Hall, actually, on the Friday, I believe he was testing the Mini GP 50, which, although he cannot race yet due to his age, they allowed him to get some test days, and already on his second day on the bike, I believe, he's looking comfortable. Every single session you could see him getting more comfortable on these Mini GP 50s, which just shows how much these Minimotos teach them, as although they do not have gears in the clutch, it teaches them basic of riding a motorcycle and what it feels like to get their knee down. So as soon as they go on the bigger bike, they're able just to go off out the gate straight away. And as we see, Finley POLHILL has actually set the fastest lap of the race with 53.336, which was about almost 3 tenths faster than Austin Johnson. So although Austin Johnson's out front by, I believe, 1.5 seconds, this race is not over with just 4 laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So 4 laps to go, 4 minutes currently elapsed. So let's see, who's got the close battles at the moment. The closest battle on track is still between Liam Lindquist and Oliver Hall with about 3 tenths, almost 4 tenths of a second there, as we see Austin Johnson going around the final corner and over the start finish straight. He does take the fastest lap away from Finley POLHILL with a 52.993. 2.1 seconds splits the first two, and so it's a gap of 4 seconds for the podium position. As we now see, Mathew Thomas has dropped back a little bit. That puts Liam Lindquist and Oliver Hall, and I think Mathew Thomas might have a problem because he's dropping down the order quite a lot. So I'm not too sure what's happened there, but everyone has currently been promoted to place. So Oliver Hall and Liam Lindquist moving to 5th and 6th. GLEESON up to P7. Dylan TOERIEN is in P8. Jensen BISHOP P9. Callum MAXWELL in P10, and Mathew Thomas. Not too sure what has happened to that rider, but I'm sure we will manage to find it. So I'm just hearing that we did see a yellow flag somewhere, but I'm not too sure on the track, so I presume that was for Mathew Thomas. As we now see Austin Johnson completing another lap here, and there we go. That's nice to see. I think his parents just lifted him off, so it's good to see that he's all right. So I presume he's just gone off on one of the corners, but good to see that he is okay.
Yeah, Mathew Thomas was having a great race up to that point. He's very easy to see on track in his bright lime green coloured bike and levers. But massive disappointment for him, but I'm sure he should be able to make it out for race 2 and race 3, because of course, as we said earlier, these classes do have 3 races in one day, as Austin Johnson still leads the way with a 2.7 second gap as he comes down the back straight, the Spitfire straight, trying to get as tucked in as possible, make him run this final corner. He's just trying to control this race at the moment. As we head on to the final lap of the race, he will see that yellow flag with a black cross. That informs the riders that it's the last lap of the race, so he'll be thinking, right, just get it home. I know I have a lead, and he's just trying to stay focused. It's so hard to stay focused when you're in the lead of the race, because one little slip up can mean your whole race is over in a matter of half a second, if that. So Austin Johnson is really pushing on at the moment. Actually, it seems as this is the last lap of the race. Finley POLHILL is trying his hardest to catch up, close the gap, even though it's last lap of the race. It seems very unlikely. This is racing, this is motorsport, anything can happen. As he heads on to the final straight, the Spitfire straight, opening the throttle as hard as he can, going down to the final corner. What a fantastic victory from Austin Johnson. He has dominated this race, and he crosses the line with trying to pull a little wheelie on these little Minimotos, with Finley POLHILL coming in second, and Byron Johnson should be taking third. So it's a double Johnson podium.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic race for both brothers there. Also for Finley POLHILL. Sam Gardner also with a very good race there, and a very close battle between LINDQUIST and Oliver Hall. LINDQUIST coming out on top there. Yeah, fantastic race, full of quite close racing. And here is the top 10. So Austin Johnson wins the race by just over 5 seconds, a smidge over 5 seconds. Finley POLHILL takes P2. Byron Johnson finishes P3 on the podium. Sam Gardner just misses out on the podium, finishes P4. LINDQUIST P5. Oliver Hall P6. Chloe GLEESON P7. Callum MAXWELL P8. Dylan TOERIEN down a few positions there in P9. Jensen BISHOP in P10. And Mathew THOMAS unfortunately didn't finish. But that was it for race 1 of the LC40 Elite class, which means that they have another 2 races ahead of them, as we see lovely Racing Respect there going down the Spitfire straight. Yeah, there we can see Mathew Thomas's bike. I believe it is. I'm not too sure. Oh no, that is Dylan's bike. So I'm not too sure whether his bike has stalled or something like that. But we will. But yeah, we will see about that. So the fantastic race there, really good race. Lots of action packed, and that is, as I said, the first of 3 races for them today. So those riders are going to really be feeling this tomorrow morning. These are the Minimoto's LC40 Elite British Championship. These are powered by 2-stroke 40cc engines or 4-stroke 90cc engines. Very interesting. These riders are anywhere between the ages of 7 to 13, and these, unlike the AC40 Pro and Rookie Championships, these do not have an exhaust restrictor. So these cars, these bikes are capable of 56 miles an hour. An incredible speed for these young riders.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, at that age, I don't think anyone could imagine going 56 miles per hour on so close to the ground as well. I mean, if you've ever driven a go-kart, for example, you'll know the closer you are to the ground, the faster it feels like you're going. So these riders on these Minimotos they are so close to the ground, so they're going to be feeling like they're doing double the speed. So it's a great experience for these younger riders. And talking about these younger riders, it's not a massive grid that we have here in the LC40 Elite, but it always produces amazing racing, as does most of the classes here at FAB. As we have a look just at the 2 bikes on your screen there, there's Austin Johnson and Byron Johnson. They're 2 brothers that run very similar looking bikes for us commentators, and they're usually found at the front of the grid, so it can be quite difficult to commentate on sometimes, as we see some maybe an issue with the number 11 bike there in grid. That's Jensen BISHOP. No, I believe he just went to the wrong grid spot temporarily. But yeah, the 2 Johnson brothers are usually pretty fast. And Byron Johnson, you may have seen earlier in the AC40 Pro race. So he is on an air-cooled bike, while his brother Austin is on a liquid-cooled bike. So it's great to see that the fact that the air-cooled bikes can still keep up these liquid-cooled bikes, even though they're slightly down on power, as they head out for their warm-up lap. And we have a quick look at the grid, where Austin Johnson will start in pole position from Finley POLHILL, with Mathew Thomas in third. Sam Gardner rounding off the second row in fourth, with Byron Johnson in fifth. Liam LINDQUIST in sixth, with Jensen BISHOP in seventh. GLEESON in eighth. Oliver Hall in ninth. Dylan TOERIEN in 10th. And rounding off the grid will be Callum MAXWELL. So it's a great grid. Only 11 riders, but I'm sure it'll produce great racing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this championship always produces really fantastic racing. It really does. You know, these mini bikes are also incredible to watch, especially trackside. Even in person, you know, you kind of get a reference of just how small they are on camera, but when you're actually here, you do say, I mean, you know, they are small little bikes, and they do produce really fast, fantastic, quick racing. So I believe it was Austin Johnson that just got a little bit of a slow start on the grid there, as they went around for their formation lap. But as we see them coming up to the grid, yes, we do. Lovely stuff. We see Finley POLHILL there in the 199, the bright orange bike. You definitely can't miss that on camera. As we see Austin Johnson in first place, all of the riders having a little bit of a chat to one another, telling a few people to come over here, let's have a little chat just before the race does start. So, as we said, we've been through the grid. This is going to be a very interesting race. Let's see which one of these riders can get the best start. There we go. We get the signal to go at the back now, just waiting for the front marshal to give the signal to go and tell the drivers to look at the lights. She looks and talks to her radio as we now look at the lights. There we go. So we're just waiting for the red light now. And the red light any second. There we go. The red light is on and it's lights out and go. It's a fantastic start for Austin Johnson. Finley POLHILL just in second, challenging there for that. Mathew Thomas there has a great start as well. So does Sam Gardner. Byron Johnson staying in fifth place. We can see this battle going on track now. A very nice clean getaway for a lot of the riders. Nice to see that they are very close together, very nice and respectful with racing, as we see Austin Johnson leading the pack away from POLHILL and Thomas Gardner Thomas and then Gardner behind him, and then Johnson behind him. A very nice start. Let's see where this race takes us.
Yes, certainly. I mean, Austin Johnson got off to a great start. He's had a great season so far, actually. Finley POLHILL is just trying to keep tabs on him, trying to be close enough, so if he does make a mistake, he can pounce on that and get past straight away. But Austin Johnson leads the way after this first lap of the race, where, of course, he will sit fastest lap as he is first there. But Austin Johnson knows how to lead the race. He's done it all throughout the season, but can he hold on? I mean, there's no slow riders in this class. This is the peak of Minimoto racing in the UK. Byron Johnson, Austin Johnson's brother, is up into fourth place right now. Sam Gardner rounding off the final podium positions in third. So definitely for the podium, it's not over yet. Even for the race win, it's not over yet. I mean, Austin Johnson, he's going to be trying to go as fast as he can, but that can cause mistakes. I mean, he can run wide, get a bit flustered, where Finley POLHILL might take some advantage on that. Yeah, absolutely. The gap between Johnson and POLHILL at the moment is just over a second on that last lap, as we see Johnson coming into the final corner. There we go. There he is as he goes over the line. Let's see what the gap this time around is going to be to Finley POLHILL in the second. It's 2.3 seconds. He's gained another 1.3 seconds on Finley POLHILL. A very interesting race start indeed. We have 6 laps to go in this race. It's looking like a very nice race at the moment for Austin Johnson and the Johnson brothers, as Byron Johnson that is, has managed to overtake Sam Gardner for third place. We could see, there we go, we see Finley POLHILL on screen. We can see both Austin Johnson and Byron Johnson potentially on the podium as brothers, which will be a very interesting and very happy podium for that family. I am sure, as Austin Johnson last time around went 53.028, which is a very quick lap in time, as we see
as we see Austin Johnson coming around the final corner and going over the start-finish line for a 53.179. The gap has gone up a little bit more, about 6/10 up now from Johnson to POLHILL, but the gap between Byron Johnson and Finley POLHILL is 2.1 seconds, which is very, very interesting. Sim Gardner, Mathew Thomas, Chloe GLEESON in P6, P7 is Dylan TOERIEN, P8 is Oliver Hall, Jensen Bishop is in P9, and rounding out the top 10 is Callum MAXWELL.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, and if you're an avid watcher of the LC40 Elite Championship, you'll notice that there is a rider missing. Harrison Day will not be racing this weekend due to a break in his wrist, I believe, but he is okay after suffering a crash on Friday. But he should be out later on in the season, back out to hopefully fight for race victories like we know he can. But Austin Johnson is still up front. It's almost a 3-second lead now. It may even be a 3-second lead by the time we cross the line. As we wait to see, it's a 3.4-second lead. That was 5/10 faster that previous lap. I mean, Austin Johnson is got some incredible pace right now, but so is his brother Byron. Byron is about 2.5 seconds off Finley POLHILL, so we could, with just 4 laps to go, we could see a Johnson 1-2. I mean, the thing about this class is you don't know what the results are going to be until it's over, as we've seen today. I mean, there's been so much crazy races here at Llandow. It produces such good racing in the circuit because that's a bit of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, about 3 or 4 of the races that we've had earlier today have ended and finished and were decided on the last lap. And it has been absolutely incredible. Very, very exciting racing indeed, as we see Austin Johnson going over the timing line. There we go. A 52.889 for him. That is a very, very good lap. The lap record here is a 59.14 set by Archie Gibbs. Now, as we are looking on screen, there we go. That is the number 25. I believe that's Chloe GLEESON just going out of shot. There we go. And then we've got the battle here for 7th, 8th and 9th, I believe, as we switch back to Austin Johnson as he goes through his very technical fast part of the circuit. It's a very technical circuit before, as he comes up here into the right hander. There we go, switches the balance on to the left and switches it once again to the right as he comes round the corner to go onto the Spitfire straight. Look at him there, trying to make his body as small as possible so he can get a bigger slipstream advantage than his opponents, as Austin Johnson comes over the start-finish lines. Last lap was a 53 dead pretty much, as we see Finley POLHILL now crossing the line, and the gap is now 5.645 seconds, which is incredible, and the gap from Byron Johnson to Finley POLHILL is 4.182 seconds. A very, very, very respectable gap indeed. So it's about 9.8 seconds between Austin Johnson and his brother Byron Johnson. I'm not too sure Byron will be very happy with that, but I'm sure he will be riding his hardest.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I mean, he is on an air-cooled bike, so he's slightly at a disadvantage when it comes to power and performance. But Byron Johnson at Lid, if I remember correctly, did take a victory on that air-cooled bike, so they are able to compete, and it's great to see the bikes being able to compete at such a high level. But anyway, as we see Finley POLHILL coming down the back straight, the Spitfire straight, to the final corner, as he goes on to the last lap, Austin Johnson is already on the last lap. Austin Johnson is just going to bring it home right now. He has a 6.4 second advantage over Finley POLHILL, and he set the fastest lap that time round with a 52.7. I mean, there's nothing stopping Austin Johnson right now. He is feeling the bike. He has a great feedback from the bike. He can throw it about the corners. Look, you can see the confidence he has. Just place it on his knee, picking it up, getting on the throttle, going through the chicane, going the final sector in the final lap of this race. Austin Johnson is going to try and win. All he needs to do is stay on for one more corner, make it round. He's trying to get as tucked in as possible. He is going to the final corner, one final time. Austin Johnson wins in the LC40 Elite. He takes the checker flag. He will be absolutely delighted with that. We await on Finley POLHILL, which we see in our picture now, coming round, takes checker flag. He will be pleased with that too. And the brother of Austin, Byron Johnson, on the air-cooled bike, takes 3rd place to round off the podium. We see Sam Gardner now coming in to take 4th place. Mathew Thomas in the bright green bike, the 128, taking 5th place. He will be delighted with that. Chloe GLEESON, as we wait for Chloe Gleeson to come round to take 6th. But there's a big battle raging on here for a final few positions, because one thing we love about his classes is that there's battles all the way throughout the field, and as we see, it was like Dylan TOERIEN just got 7th place there. That was a battle from 7th to 9th, so even for the last couple of positions there is battles all the way through. So Austin Johnson takes the race win by 7 seconds. He will be delighted with that. He'll be absolutely buzzing. Finley POLHILL in 2nd, Byron JOHNSON in 3rd, Sam GARDNER 4th, Mathew THOMAS 5th, Chloe Gleeson 6th, Dylan TOERIEN 7th, Oliver Hall 8th, and Callum MAXWELL 9th, and finally Jensen BISHOP rounds out the top 10. And yeah, it was a great race, Alex. I think you can agree. Yeah, absolutely. You know, an incredibly dominant performance there from Austin Johnson. You know, Finley POLHILL couldn't challenge Austin Johnson on that occasion. You know, Johnson just started well, and then just kept his consistency, kept his dedication, didn't push too hard, and that's what gave him the win. Obviously winning from 7 seconds from Finley POLHILL, who I imagine was just trying to maybe just keep second, maybe, you know, not make many mistakes, just trying to be consistent. And obviously Byron JOHNSON with that really good performance as well from him. This is a very interesting championship. As I said, it's the Minimoto LC40 Elite British Championship, powered by 2-stroke air or water-cooled 40cc's or 4-stroke air or oil-cooled 90cc engines. The ages of these riders range from anywhere between 7 years old and 13 years old. And unlike the Minimoto AC40 and AC40 Pro and Rookie Championships, obviously the Rookie Championship has a 10mm exhaust restrictor, and the Pros have 14mm exhaust restrictor. These don't have any exhaust restrictors, which means they are capable of 56 miles an hour, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Obviously, the rookie class, the AC40s, has 45, AC40 Pros has 52, and this has 56. So 4 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour quicker than the Pro Championship. But there are some very talented riders in here. Obviously, we have the Johnson brothers in there. But yeah, thank you very much for sticking with us. I'm sure that phrase is definitely true if you are in the paddock, because it is absolutely roasting in here. So thank you very much for sticking with us and watching us. Who are you supporting? Who are you who's supporting? Are you in the paddock? Are you listening on YouTube? And there's good old Roger, the big boss man around this paddock, which we love. We wouldn't be able to go with you know, keep going strong. You know, he's going for his walk, which is absolutely lovely. Giving saying, oh, yep, sorry, didn't mean to see that there. As obviously, yeah, as he walked round to the paddock, as we wait for the LC40 Elite to do their warm-up lap, as we are just waiting for a few riders. There we go, and until we get a bit of a red flag, there is someone getting quite impatient on the grid, revving their engine. As we can see, I think it's one of the Johnson brothers. Yes, it's Byron JOHNSON, who is just revving his engine. As we can see the blue smoke coming out of the back. So yeah, Lewis, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Johnson brothers?
Yeah, the Johnson brothers are two very successful brothers. Byron JOHNSON will be racing that air-cooled bike in this LC40 Elite class, which of course can run both air-cooled and liquid-cooled bikes. Byron JOHNSON got some great results last round that led on that air-cooled bike. I believe he got a podium and potentially a win.
Yeah, fantastic. And you know, if he can even convert that into a win, you know, he might even get a little bit thunderstruck, which would be absolutely fantastic if he can. And maybe if he wants to go a bit of a different livery to his brother Austin Johnson, he can maybe go back to the original black livery as well. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here all weekend. Yeah, we're just waiting for the drivers riders to come back to join the grid. As we say, 11 riders as we see as we see a lovely family there waiting outside the track as there is a Skoda there and a very, very nice classic car there. Oh, we do like that indeed, as we get a lovely pan to the riders here for the LC40 Elite Championship. We have the ACDB brothers, we call it, because obviously ACDC, bit copyrighted. So Austin Johnson is on pole position, Finley POLHILL in P2, Mathew Thomas P3, Sam Gardner P4, Byron JOHNSON P5, Liam LINDQUIST P6, Bishop P7, GLEESON P8, Oliver Hall P9, TOERIEN in P10, and Maxwell in P11. Now just waiting for the final riders to get in position. There we go. We're waiting for the thumbs up and we're waiting for the point to the lights, which indicates to us and the drivers that it is ready to go for the final round of the LC40 Elite Championship. There we go. The finger is up. 2 points to the lights. Let's go for the final round of this fantastic championship. The lights are on and the lights out, and away we go. A very, very, very good start indeed for Finley POLHILL, who takes the lead away from Austin Johnson. Very, very good indeed. I believe that is it. Yeah. The two Johnson brothers are together. I think maybe Sam Gardner maybe got a little bit of a bad start. I'm not too sure. But as we see, Finley POLHILL leading the pack away, which is absolutely lovely to see. The Johnson brothers together. There we go. A really good start there from Finley POLHILL. Austin Johnson just trailing behind there, as you can see, but he's hot on the heels of POLHILL. Johnson will be going, excuse me, you just took that away from me. I want to get back in that position. And he says that as he goes side by side down into the final corner. Is he going to come out in the lead? Yes, he is. But is POLHILL going to get a better exit? I think he might. Let's have a look. No, he doesn't. Johnson is back into the lead of this race. Fantastic. Austin Johnson leads Finley POLHILL from Byron JOHNSON. The Johnson brothers on the podium at the moment. Sam Gardner, Mathew Thomas had a little bit of a poor start there, down in 4th and 5th respectively. TOERIEN in P6, Jensen BISHOP in P7, Oliver Hall in P8, Chloe GLEESON in P9, and Callum MAXWELL in P10.
Yes, exactly what we expect to see. Austin Johnson making a great start off the line in his liquid cooled bike, but Finley POLHILL is not going to let this go easily. You can see how aggressive he is being through the chicane. He's throwing the bike about. He's trying to catch back up, but Byron Johnson's there and he can pick up the pieces if anything goes pear-shaped of Austin and Finley. But it's still only, we're about to go 6 laps to go in this race. Austin Johnson still leads and gets the fastest lap of the race with 53.1. He's just 4/10 ahead of Finley POLHILL, which will want to make that gap a lot smaller going on this lap. Finley POLHILL has tried as hard as he can as they go around this section of the track where it's a hairpin into another hairpin. Then they try to use almost all the track, then some riders prefer just to go out almost to the curb there as the track opens up, and then they widens out as they head through here into the chicane. After the chicane, you will then get faced with another right-hander, which then leads onto the back straight. This exit is absolutely crucial. If you can carry your momentum all the way from the start of that chicane through the straight, you can potentially make a dive bomb into this final corner. It's so inviting, but this final corner can be quite bumpy if you're going towards the inside of it, so you have to watch out, and you want to get a good drive, so you cannot take it too tight. But it's still Austin Johnson that leads the way with another fastest lap that time round with a 53.1. But Finley POLHILL also has a 53.1. There's nothing separating the two riders. There's 5 laps to go. Finley POLHILL is looking for a way past. He's looking for any kind of way.
Yeah, I've just got a message from race control. Austin Johnson has been given a 3-second penalty for a jump start. So that is not too good for him. So he's going to need to pull out something out of his back pocket of his leathers to try and still win this race. But at the moment, it is Finley POLHILL provisionally in the lead of the race, which is very, very interesting indeed. But let's have a look at these riders here going side by side. A very very brave move there, but unfortunately didn't work out as we go down on to the back straight. Very nice. Here we go. So this is Jensen BISHOP that we are watching here, who is under attack from TOERIEN. There we go. Across the line they go. A very decent little battle here. This is shaping up to be as they come through this big long sweeping left-hander into this right-hander, going on to a little straight, and now into the very technical section that we call the fast sweeping technical section of this circuit.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, this circuit, as you said earlier, has a bit of everything. You need to get the bike working for you around here. You need to have faith in your bike. If you don't, you're not going to get a good lap time, frankly. I mean, it matters so much on the circuit. It's so tight and twisty as well. It's not one of these wide, open, flowing tracks where if you make a mistake, it's not going to affect you, because this chicane which you've seen, if you get that wrong, it shores you up all the way until the start-finish line, pretty much. As we see Bishop, going a little bit further back from Mathew Thomas. Mathew Thomas trying just to escape. As we see on our screen right now, TOERIEN in a battle with what appears to be GLEESON. Finley POLHILL now getting pushed back even further with Callum MAXWELL also in the hunt for a position up the top. There's battles going on from first to last. It's just a great racing that's in this class, all the way from first to last. There's multiple battles for every single position, because every single position matters in terms of championship points.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as I said, that's two to go. So the next time that Austin Johnson and Finley POLHILL go over the line, that will be the last lap. Now remember, Austin Johnson with the 3-second penalty, which means that currently Finley POLHILL is in provisional P1 at the moment. But let's have a look, because the gap to Johnson from POLHILL is 8 seconds now. So depending on if Austin Johnson that is, can have a really good last few laps and maybe keep the lead, or maybe it looks like he might finish P2 in this race. But yeah, as you said, lots of battles up and down the field this weekend in practically every class. Obviously last time we had the sidecars, we had 3 battles there, which is fantastic, and now we've got a lot more battles as well, especially between Jensen BISHOP and Chloe GLEESON. Only 8 tenths separate them. But as we watch the top 2 here, which is between Austin Johnson and Finley POLHILL right here. Or it might be Byron JOHNSON and Sam Gardner, not too sure there. Both very similar, very similar cars. So that is the battle for the lead of the race, which is very interesting indeed. Obviously we are now onto the last lap of the race. So Austin Johnson obviously provisional lead at the moment. Finley POLHILL is technically in P1 for the moment. So Austin Johnson still a very good drive from him. Very dominant, no mistakes. Just unfortunate that he does get that jump start penalty, but I'm sure he'll be back at Ella, and he will be absolutely fire. It will be very fast. As we now see them coming down the start-finish straight, and it is going to be Finley POLHILL. Johnson will cross the line first, but it is going to be POLHILL that takes the win away from Austin Johnson. Finley POLHILL wins the race with Austin Johnson into P2, as we see this battle for P3 between Sam Gardner and Byron JOHNSON. Coming into the final corner, it's going to be Byron JOHNSON that finishes P3. So it's going to be Finley POLHILL in P1. Then we've got Austin Johnson in P2, obviously taking the 3-second penalty, and Byron JOHNSON in P3. What a fantastic race, a really fantastic race, filled with lots of battles through there. It was a really fantastic battle, as we see some of them. I've just realised what is in our ears right now. Yes, I think Austin Johnson will be very thunderstruck with the fact that he has that penalty. Fantastic there. So here is the top 10 for that race. Austin Johnson, as I say, cross the lines first. So it's going to be Finley POLHILL that wins the race away from Austin Johnson and Byron JOHNSON in P3. Sam Gardner finishes P4 with Mathew Thomas in P5. Oliver Hall finishes P6, Jensen BISHOP P7, Chloe GLEESON at P8, TOERIEN P9, and rounding out the final top 10, Callum MAXWELL. Well, what a fantastic race. We have 3 races only to go for this Llandow circuit for the FAB-Racing 22 Mini Bike Championship. And that is the amazing action here at Llandow. What an absolutely fantastic day of racing. Join us next time for round 3 at Ella Park. Thank you for watching.
On the road to MotoGP, this is FAB Racing.